Welcome to yet another episode of the Offlane, where we have a lot of Dota 2 related topics for today, and of course, your weekly dosage regarding all of the tournaments that have been going on and what are upcoming as well. But we are once again as the same dynamic duo. I'm your caretaker, T Panda, joined by the man with the real true shot aura, Potom.
Wow, good one.
Yeah,
You
I had
get
to
more
think
creative
about.
from intro to intro. It's getting better and better. I gotta give you credit for that one.
Thank you. I mean, I'm trying to improve, and I had to bring out a good old Warcraft 3 so-called, what do you even call it, reference in this case, because a lot of things have changed from Dota 1 to Dota 2.
So, yeah.
Today
For as
we've
many
got
games.
Today we've got three things we want to go through with you guys. As we took 1 week of a short break in between, and we have a lot of catching up to do, almost to say, when people said there's no Dota happening this summer, there's definitely a lot of Dota and drama going on in the Dota scene. Seafood or Shipwreck will be our first topic for today. We're going to be spending quite a lot of time with that with Potom. We're going to be talking about the upcoming tournaments, as we've got the Rumble Cup and a Rampage Series too, actually, and the UCC Rumble Cup to be precise with that. And where we left off last time with our predictions, we will finish them off today. So predictions part 2 as the last segment for today's show. But let's dive in right away. So hop aboard to the Shipwreck, or the Seafood, how to say. So what we really want to talk about here is one of the older Dota 2 so-called, could almost say a legend at some peak, but Jimmy Demon, who's been performing in TI previously, has been in some very established teams, has played with players such as Clinton Fear Loomis, Ben Merlini Wu, Clem Puppy Ivanov, some quite the big names he's been playing with, and he has announced his retirement from Dota after more than 8 years of professional playing in Dota 2. So all this has brought into a discussion on his stream. So on Twitch, he was talking about his history and a couple unpleasant things that have been revolving around his Dota 2 career. And the latest one, which caused quite of an uproar. So Team Admiral and him being a part of that team during this year. So there was some controversial talk during the stream itself, and even after that. So Jimmy was saying that he was threatened by their, I'm not sure, was he Filipino or was he a Chinese manager in Team Admiral? I've tried to look into the background story of this. I've spent some time checking through various different sources and try to fill in this story, all the gaps and all the parts that might be missing. But what is the real story behind this? Potom.
Yeah, we have a real story behind it. I gotta say, you mentioned the gaps. There is a lot of gaps, but it's also another part really well documented, which we usually do not have if something like this sparks up. And I gotta say, there is no initial big outro. I just would have wished this came earlier to our attention in the cycle, but I imagine there's some contracts going on. You don't want to badmouth anyone, but hey, once one side fires the cannons, the other one starts as well. And well, the original timeline is that on the stream retirement announcement, or the retirement stream, you could say, haven't followed all of the stream, just parts of it, then saw the YouTube video at the end. Jimmy made an announcement how the conditions were over Team Admiral. That he criticized in particular the unbearable living conditions from the get-go. He just wanted to get out. It almost felt like a really horror story. Like, I'm in the Philippines, or like I'm in the sea region. I want to get out of here, but I can't because I'm playing with a team. I would give them up. We're the boot camp. Everything's provided, but it's also a horrible experience.
Yeah, that's also a very harsh opener to think about. Like, the first thing you throw out, like, I want out of here. Like, things aren't going at all like I planned this to be.
Yeah, like this is something you would hear from real horror scenarios where you get threatened and whatnot, and we're going to come to that part later. So he mentioned the living conditions in particular. He mentioned that he was threatened physically and psychologically by the manager, by some other people in the area as well, and that is a big red flag from the very get-go. Like, your manager should be the last person that threatens someone, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you hear the story of like, yeah, my manager threatened to basically slap a chair across my face. That is, I mean, it's not a monitor, but it's getting pretty close to that level, you could say. On the other hand, all of it was not completely funded from the very get-go, but he also did not deliver any proof. Like, this was basically just a casual conversation with his streaming people, or with his viewership. Didn't really I don't think Demon actually, or Jimmy, expected this will blow out to a really open discussion, to a big drama discussion. But now he has like articles everywhere talking about it. You have taking sides back and forth, and I almost feel like he thought he can get away with it as like a one-sided thing, because we all know Team Admiral, Team Who at this point.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, he's doing it on a live stream. He's trying to cut it out to a specific time segment. He's not necessarily remembering everything clearly. So he's just saying how things are, maybe put a bit of drama into it. And that's the thing. Like, if you're viewing it to a big audience, obviously you want to bring out the best emotional side you can to make the story have a catch to all those viewers. So he's probably bringing them out, and he might actually be really serious about most of those parts, but we don't know. Is he missing something here? When people were spreading it out on Reddit, making articles about it, and then we get the response from Team Admiral after a bit of a wait, and then we have a live stream versus an article, which brings out every part of what is their point of view. How do they talk about everything that Jimmy said basically into a 6.5-minute video where they filled everything in? Trying to kind of,
say, it did take us a lot of time to actually dig through all these articles, because gotta give Team Admiral credit, they provided a lot of sources for all of the claims that Genie made on multiple ones, and as well as like putting some extras in, like some extra new information we were not aware about. So it started with some basic screenshots and some basic screenshots of chat protocols, and there's a lot of them to come. But I think what is the best thing to talk about, or at the start, is the to quote, the horrible and unbearable living conditions that Jimmy talked about in the 6-minute video.
Yep.
And he really made, or Team Admiral felt like he made this bootcamp look like the worst place on earth. And in reality, it was a 3-story house with 3 bedrooms and 1 maid's quarters. At least this is what they disclosed to us, and nobody ever contested that. And Jimmy, from the get-go, had a little bit of an advantage over the others. So he had the only single room, apparently. I gotta say it all over and over. Like, this is confirmed from one side. I believe Jimmy confirmed most of it as well, but dodged it a little bit in the end. But we're gonna get to that way later. We still have a good amount of time. So they talked about the 3-story house with 3 bedrooms. Jimmy immediately, as the new star player of the lineup, I mean, he was there for a reason, got the best room, basically. While everybody else, except for Jimmy, had to share a room with someone. We're talking a 5-man team, 3 rooms, need one of them for practice, or one for the entire management that is there as well. That kind of gets a little bit crowded, I imagine.
Well, I mean, if you imagine yourself living with 3 different guys sparing in the same room, and then you have 5 different guys. I mean, 4 plus you in the building, but 3 plus you in the same room.
Yeah, I have 2 cats, and it's already too crowded.
Yeah,
just imagine if there's so many people. I gotta say, if a bootcamp is kind of the purpose of, like, you can't expect like a big mansion for your Dota team. Especially in the tier 2 scene, and at that point, and Team Admiral pointed that out in the latest study as well, they were not making any money, and they had not the biggest funding. They had no main sponsors. They hadn't won any big tournaments to get a lot of prize money. Mm-hmm. So this is all coming out of their pocket. From a business perspective, I would say a 3-story house with 3 bedrooms is actually quite decent, considering you have everything else managed for.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have any live footage how it looked there on any floor plans, so we can. There's always a little bit of wiggle room, you could say. But I would say it's an adequate boot camp, depending on for how long this is. And it's not like there were a lot of information in these posts, but it was not on the Chinese level of you have to be locked in your house for 12 or to 16 hours. to play Dota. Like I felt like it was a lot more casual in terms of like a lot more friendly and chill atmosphere around.
Yeah, like of course you have a star player in your team. You want to make sure that he's comfortable with stuff and that he in a way he is privileged, yes, but you don't want to think it that way. You want to keep this guy happy so that he will give in return what we need. Because the players are living out of their own pockets. They don't have any big sponsors. Like you said, they haven't won any big tournaments to get this kind of status inside in the Filipino or the sea region, that these guys can make off a living by just being there. So Jimmy apparently didn't pay for meals. His teammates would pay for him, and that was basically out of Filipino hospitality.
Provided there was a cook as well.
Yeah.
Like they pointed it out, they had a house cook. So this is solely talking about eating out at the restaurants, which is.
Yeah.
I was told that is more common outside my country. I don't do it often, but apparently that's the same. Also, seafood must be good. Can we get some seafood? We should get some seafood.
We should get some seafood.
Let's put that on the list.
We need to do that.
But yeah.
But then again, you
like
that.
And, I think it was mentioned at the very start of the article that occasionally while going out, he asked for a load of the team manager, basically a budget, like, can you lend me some money? Not sure if this was part of the salary or if it is like, can you just give me like some daily money so I can get through the day, like getting water, etc. But this was clearly stated. This was not part of the team's function. This was not talked about in before, and they still did provide that because it's their star player. They want to make sure he's comfortable, and you can understand it was probably not a well-planned trip from the very get-go. It's more like, hey, want to come to boot camp? Here's your flight. You have like a couple of hours, or you have like a day or two to prepare everything, and then basically securing visas and whatnot. So I imagine there was not a lot of time to prepare, so stuff like making sure you have the adequate currency or you have a lot of money on board when you go there. Like, I think Jimmy thought that everything will be provided for. Like, that would have been my understanding at his position.
What do you think about the fact that the other four guys are sharing a room, and Jimmy is bringing over girls to stay over at his room?
Oh yeah, this is
kind of spicy
part of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
No joke intended.
Like, this is the thing that I kind of see as a red flag. If this guy was on my team, I can't have my girlfriend come over. I can't like ask someone out if they're having like a leisure evening with the guys, the only spare day of the week that they're going out with guys, and you hook up with someone, and you can't really bring it over. It was in the house rules as well. But then you have this one guy who has his own room. He could take advantage of it, and he definitely did.
I'm gonna say, this is a big no-no. You don't do that. That is
straight up.
That is stretching it. That is like, thanks for suffering, but also I don't give a shit. I'm gonna make my own rules. This is how it looks to me. Then just, I mean, it's fine. Of course, you don't want to completely get holed up in your room in your house, play Dota boot camp, even though a lot of people think that is. But you still live there. You still have, you are still entitled to private life or personal life. However, given the situation, the other four could not take advantage of that. Like, I would even say, it sucks that there's only one room, but couldn't they have like at least shared it of like two people and like three in the other? Just saying. 4-1, that's rough. It didn't stop with with the girls. Like, this was by far not the only thing.
That's the thing. That's not the only thing that went up.
This is 0.1 out of 8 maybe. There was also the incident of a monthly free gym membership that Jimmy requested before. He gave that in his statement and provided screenshot that was agreed on by the team. Yeah, we're gonna pay for it, not part of the salary. And then he was later involved, we actually have to take it out of the salary. But considering he got a salary and there's no numbers disclosed, but I gotta say, housing check, food check, daily allowance that he already got over the limit, you could say, and then free gym membership, I mean, you can't pay that out of your own pocket. You can't expect everything to be handled by a team, especially especially because you know what kind of position the team was in. You're captain of the team. You know what situation your organization is at that point, unless you're
Yeah.
Iceberg Esports. Sorry,
So
I'm
what?
gonna keep making Iceberg jokes here. Like, it's just part of the deal.
So yeah, about the boot camp in general, they also mentioned this is again coming from the perspective of Team Admiral. So they said like, so when Jimmy said that horrible, unbearable living conditions, bringing girls over, the guys are paying for his food, you've got laundry service that he didn't pay for, and
Happy
then
ending
again, a lot of
massages.
the happy ending massage even on top of that, like all the other Filipino top players, they would love to play in that kind of a boot camp. Like in like all the expenses that were covered, anyone would be happy to be there, even if they would have to pay it
It
out of
was a
their own
dream.
pockets. That would be like,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. It was a dream for many Filipino top players.
I gotta say, I can understand coming from the Western scene. You could say, like in a Western boot camp, all of this would be absolutely mandatory. That would be no problem, and that's just a difference. But you also gotta understand that in certain parts of the world, especially in esports, there isn't as much budget. Like you're more likely to have all of this included easily in a European boot camp, which is also 50 times more expensive than you would have maybe in the Philippines or whatnot. So I can understand. Still, I understand some of his concerns, but if it comes to stuff like massages and just the boot camp not being up to his standards, to
Yeah.
quote, and calling it horrible, unbearable living condition. You got a room, you get food every day. It can't be that bad unless there's no toilet, no water, no power. And since
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
playing Dota, I highly expect at least two of them were there.
yeah. It almost sounds like kind of you're being a diva at that point, in my opinion. When you're considering from the perspective of the other four guys, they're sharing the same room every single day, every single night. They're in that same room when Jimmy has the privilege of being alone in his own room, and he did not bring anything like this in his stream.
Yeah, like there was actually a small clip of the boot camp, so it
Yeah,
didn't look the most spacious, but you can't really complain. It's a short clip only showing the players' room, showing the showing a little bit of the staircase, I believe, as well as having the Jimmy's bedroom, I assume.
yeah,
But gotta say, didn't look that bad. Like pretty up to standard. Like what you would, it looks like something you would see on like the summit or whatnot when they make the turnarounds. But
now
yeah,
that we're
this
pretty much
is
gone with what was the boot camp itself, there was the manager who's been threatening him and all that.
we can come to that
There
later.
was there was a lot of stuff with that, but was there something we're still missing from the living conditions?
From living conditions, I don't think so. I think we pretty much had everything from the house rules. There was one thing of the living conditions I wanted to talk about before we go to the manager incident, you could
Yep.
say, which was that allegedly Jimmy said his watch was stolen and he suspects the maid. And
Oh yeah. True. That was
yeah,
one I
I
missed as
remember
well.
there's a chat log about that, where he basically talking to Pang, saying like somebody stole his watch. He suspects the maid when she left after cleaning my room. Pang then did go ahead and say, "Can you please recheck it, make sure." And yeah, it turned out it was still not there. He couldn't find it. And yeah, like Team Admiral said, they were close on actually finding that maid, getting her out of a job, but like relieving her of duty because they want the players to feel safe. And what turned out is Jimmy just found it in one of his pockets or somewhere else in his room. Turned out, yes, the maid moved the watch or to a different location or whatnot. Made sure it's neat. I don't know the specifics, but that's a step in the wrong direction if you're
Yeah,
already at a really high tension, you could say at that point.
yeah, I could definitely think it that way because that's not the first thing that usually comes into mind. Like, obviously, you have someone caretaking in the house. In this case, we have a maid. So there's probably going to be expected that some things are going to move around in your room, so you'll just have to quite remember what you have there. And if you don't instantly find something, it's okay, but you don't blame someone of stealing it right away, because
I mean,
that's
I
the
gotta
thing.
say,
Like did he throw it right away that someone's stolen stuff from me, or did he have time to think about, like, I can't find it, like it has to be someone's taken it?
I mean, we see the chat log straight up. It means somebody stole my watch. Then there comes this short answer like "What the fuck," and then I suspect they made second sentence from the get go.
Yeah.
Not the way to go. It's a little bit too explosive, but hey, maybe that's his style. Maybe that's his how they know him. Don't really want to go into detail there. I would consider it very rude to immediately accuse somebody of stealing.
Oh, definitely.
But
I'd be pissed at that point. Like,
especially because of the potential consequences. It
yeah.
turned out it was nothing in the end. Like this is a nightmare. Like just imagine you're employed there as the cook or whatnot, and say, yeah, that guy did something. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. It's your word against theirs. And let's stay honest. At that point, you probably know as the cook or someone that the players probably get way more money than you. So guess who they're gonna get rid of if they have to choose. So yeah.
So
It's
yeah, I don't know if I can really add into anything. I would just be really insulted if I was the person to be blamed at, and you've got a star player, whatever. I don't even care at that point. Like, someone's accusing me of something I haven't done.
yeah.
And I would be pissed. So let's
talking
go
about something that they haven't done. Let's talk about our manager here, because this was the original meme attached to all of this, which made Reddit go in circles as usual. Which is the, how would you feel, Panda, if I tell you, can you get me a glass of water, please? I know it's a long march from Finland, but I think that's fine, right? Like, I'm in the middle of a show here. You gotta help me out.
If someone mentions the word please.
Oh yeah, what please? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Panda, get me water. Go.
The moment you say it like that, obviously someone's not going to take it as politely. As we've already mentioned, the Filipino culture, the hospitality, the being nice to someone, and then just ordering people around without actually giving a please or any sort of kindness. There's already been tension. There's definitely more tension at that moment, and also to the person you direct it to. So
straight up your boss. Yeah, like the team owner. Like Jimmy Fallon. So to summarize up, basically they were in the middle of a draft in one of the final match or in the final matches, and he asked somebody in the room who he didn't know he was, but it was the team owner, not the manager, or well, in terms of manager, yeah, but not the coach. The team owner of Team Admiral, and he asked him, "Hey, can you get me a glass of water, or can you get me a bottle of water, that is?" And the manager straight up answered with, "Sure, boss," in a very sarcastic or ironic manner, and then left the room and didn't return. And that was, I mean, reasonable request, not reasonable request. What do you think at that point? Like
at the first reaction, yeah, like what comes to me in mind is childish behavior and tension coming together. It's basically a misunderstanding at that point for the person who has been asked, and the way he responds, like, "Sure, boss." Like, I don't know if he said it like "Sure, boss" or like "Sure, boss," and then just like giving an eyeball, an eye roll or something, and then just like slamming the door.
In context, you gotta know, if you say boss to somebody in the Philippines or in the city, that means like you have high respect for them.
Yeah.
Like that means like, hey, I respect for what you did, where you come from, what you're doing for me. And so using that in a sarcastic way is definitely not the nicest. I think there's two things, and I gotta say, he was in a final match in the drafting phase, not much time left. You get under pressure in these situations, and you want to stay hydrated during the game. That's fine, but did you have to address anyone directly? Can just, I don't know, like, might be impolite as well, but just yell or half yell into the room. Can somebody get me a bottle of water, please, before we start? And just with some basic manners. Not sure if English was actually the communication language they choose over there. I did not inquire about that. I'm sorry, but I imagine so. But gotta gotta say this is this is a small incident that really snowballed, and what really turned what really got out of proportion afterward is that after they proceed to lose the game, the manager start being really prickish about it in chat, like talking like, hey, you disrespect me. I'm the boss in the sea region. Everybody, and you treat me like a peasant. That kind of stuff. So there was some feelings hurt, definitely, by that.
Yeah.
Especially because of the bad performance. I think if they won that game or something, nothing would have happened. And they're like, okay, sure, he's a little bit of a diva, but at least he won me my game, kind of stuff, you could say. But that all added up, and that really sparked the tensions. And from there, it just did go downhill, I would assume.
Yeah, I could almost see that this, from a water bottle to its complete waterfall, right? Just everything just kind of collapses at that point.
We should have saved that one.
I finally
from water
made a good,
bottle to fall.
I made a
Wow.
great pun once, but yeah. I'm not going to dwell on that for too long. So Martin didn't resort to any actual violent physical behavior, which is a relief, because at first you're being shocked that someone's threatening to hit you with a chair. You don't know if something's actually happened, like pushing around, or like, when someone comes so close to your face that you start to feel like really anxious, or like, how do you say it? You know the word?
You feel
once
threatened.
again.
Yeah.
You could feel threatened. Yeah, threatened's actually a really good word.
Or
so
intimidated.
Intimidated could be a better word in this case. Yeah. So what they did was the team manager prohibited Martin from going to the boot camp, so that they didn't want the issue to escalate, as it already was, like, as a complete, could almost say, shitstorm was about to brew at that point. So they wanted to avoid any further incidents from happening. So that was a good move. And there was no violent altercations. There were no more threats after what the chat was. But you can fill in here at this point.
Yeah, let me interject here, because I'm a little bit of a different opinion there. You say at least there's nothing real physical or whatnot. I don't know. I don't think so. I think there is a clear, for me, it is the same if I say, hey, I'm gonna slap you in the face, or I actually do it. For me, that's kind of the same. Even just the threat of doing so, it's still the same psychological factor. Like, yes, it's good. Nobody got hurt. Nobody wants that, especially in a setting where they are on the same side. They all want to go TTI. But just the threat of it, for me, I would equalize that with the same setting as he actually does so. Because
that is true.
Not okay. Yeah. That is straight over the line. Like, there is a fine line. Sometimes you can be a little bit prickish. You can make some jokes about people. Can maybe rub them off the wrong way and whatnot. But if you resort to, even as unless it's a clear joke and everybody's already laughing and whatnot, you can't go for something like that. You can't just say, I'm gonna slap like a chair across your face. That's no, you definitely pushed it. And at that point, the manager lost pretty much all of the respect he had from me. Like, that is all that he built up for without having any opinion beforehand. I take that person as a really bad person after I read that. And I would say this is definitely not okay, and Jimmy has a big point there. This is not allowed.
That is totally agreeable on Jimmy's side as well. Like, you get threatened like that, it does change you a bit. It also changes how you think about the whole organization. It changes your feeling about your team. Where are you going? How long do you want to stay in this? And that might that might exactly be why Jimmy says, like, unbearable living conditions, because you feel threatened.
Yeah, think about it. You're a pro player. You're moving to the Philippines to a team you have played with before, but you don't know nothing about the Philippines. You have a couple of persons you trust and know in that area, which is your team, your coach, your manager, and one of them just threatens you with physical violence. Like, I would feel absolutely horrible at that point. I would be terrified at that, because it just showed what happens if others get mad at me as well. Do I have any friends here? Who's backing me up? Nobody there. Hello, what do you do? Like, that is a big point. I can understand him if he says, hey, this is horrible for me, just because of that incident. Everything else that happened sheds a little bit on the light that could maybe reinforce the frustration of Team Admiral with him, but none of the initial incidents with the physical violence. This is just straight up a no-go.
What do we want to bring out next about this topic? There's so much
It's like you have
to
like
it.
a,
So
it's like you have like a list here, like
yeah, it's like
we still have
which
15
one do we
things to
go for
do.
this? Which one do we go
um,
for next?
I think the contract is a good point to get a little bit more on the economical side of things. Because we talked about it before that Team Admiral was not a big organization at that point at all. Um, they tried to go with the best conditions for Demon as much as they could. They agreed on a 70-30 split, which, from my personal experience, that is a fairly normal split. Like, it's a little bit over top, maybe. Let's say the average is 25-27, something like that, if the team actually performs. And this is not all. Like, this is just a basic agreement. If you win TI or whatnot, there would be, like, bonuses and whatnot. But you can't, like,
Yeah.
put everything, especially in such a short time frame, like saying, like, hey, come to us, we make a team for TI. You can't expect that like there's fully drawn contracts with 20, 40, 50 pages lining out every potential issue and whatnot. That's just not always the case, especially in a scene where not every team has a lawyer in terms of like drafting these contracts. Neither do the players. So 30% split from the beginning. Should they land a spot of TI, and yeah, basically Jimmy agreed to that in beforehand, and it turned out after that he stole the contract, signing and said he will only sign with the condition that the management receives less than 30% of the international tournament winnings if they land a spot. So we have a lengthy text about that, or screenshot lining out these negotiations.
More spicy screenshots.
Screenshots, I love them.
Mm.
Where Jimmy points out. Where Jimmy points out that he can't agree really with the terms. First of all, he agreed to let's do it. And, after he informed him like, hey, we're a small team, we have to go with this. We can't go any higher. We're already at capacity. And he said, yeah, okay, all right, let's do it. He agreed to it. And basically, I would assume roughly a day later, maybe two, after reviewing and consulting, I think there needs to be some clauses in regards of the events and so forth, like food, budget, travel accommodation, lodging, that kind of stuff, which does make sense that would be covered, right, from the get-go, but you would come to that if it actually happens. So then he mentioned he wants the percentage for new sponsors. So he wants the percentage that the team, the management takes if there's a sponsor on board to get down a little. I gotta say, that is fairly usual. That is pretty good. Like, I think that if a team gets sponsors on board, the players should benefit as much as possible, while the organization still makes some money to effectively support the players. Which is, yeah, it's a little bit mixed feelings on that. But then Jimmy kind of drops the one saying if he has a good chance qualifying for TI, and he feels 30% is ridiculously high, to quote. Like, if we get top 8, you guys would still get over 180k if it's like 600k total. And that's not a lot of money in esports, not for teams. Like, it sounds
Not really.
like a really impressive number, but you gotta take it out of proportions. Look at how much the players get at TI. Like,
that is very ambitious, saying like we're jumping into this, but that's just kind of how it works. We are still living in a time where the teams aren't 100% insured for every TI each year.
Yeah.
So they actually have a shot at it. If they work hard for it, they definitely have. Any team has a chance. Any team has a chance to actually make it to that level.
Yeah.
So they're not even that far-fetched when they're throwing this out. Like, if we land top 8, because he's already been there once. He's already done it once with a team that people said this team ain't gonna do anything. That was with TNC in TI6. And they beat OG and dropped them out of the tournament. That's one way of showing that Jimmy is capable of doing these things. So he definitely has a point for this.
He has a point, but then he did go on saying like 15 to 20% is a normal cut for the org. 10x if it's a really big organization. He would have expected something around the numbers from 5 to 10% on average. He has some conflicting statements on that, but everybody can read it up, readily available. And Team Atlas they're basing it on the average percentage in the Philippines or in the C region. And I gotta say, after some research, yes, they were really on point. Like, there's some There's some organizations that take 50% of the winnings, which I gotta say, if you take 50%, you always have to keep in mind you gotta really have good terms done in terms of housing and whatnot. But it's rough, I'm gonna say. Like,
I'm not very good with
just-
economics myself. I'm a very bad money spender, so I'm
just
glad you're
just
good with
think
these
about
numbers.
it. Like the reason of this cut is that even if you miss a big tournament, that the organization does not say, yeah, we're sorry, but we don't make money with you. Goodbye. Like, this is the reason that if they miss TI but they win like a major before in the old DPC season, that the team might carry on. So we don't have stuff like Team Kingu and whatnot that just have to get dropped because of money issues. Like, there is a reason for it. There is not that much money in sponsoring teams, and there shouldn't be. It should not be a business oriented scene, basically. But the fact that we can have sponsored teams with boot camps and everything, that's great. Because we know there's no help from Valve if it comes to sponsoring teams. But yeah, it's I gotta say, 30% is absolutely reasonable in my opinion. If the conditions are right for the players. Maybe Jimmy was not expecting that. Maybe he just expected a better deal or tried to push it too much, and this was taken out of context. But I think I would side with Admiral in terms of in terms of that, and considering what followed afterwards, where they had a little bit of more drama. We're not even done yet.
Not even done with the drama, yeah.
Yeah, we had some coaching operations. Could we say it like that?
Could say it. Could put it that way.
We started with Jimmy criticized some of the players. To quote, like he was surprised that Team Admiral was disappointed with him. Because to quote, Gabby is still sleeping at 2:15 p.m. while when our game is at 2 p.m. being woken up 2 to 3 times. I have last pick his carry. We pause for 5 to 7 minutes. Then I ask him for his opinion, and my accuses my carry player is on the toilet, which is, I don't know. Puppy would be proud, you could say.
I could, yeah, like
how they stretched out. But like, why is this happening? Like, I understand his frustration there. Like, he gets shut on by the organization. Why are you so unprofessional? Why are you not on point? Why are all these issues with you, Jimmy? And then his carry player is sleeping through the game, literally, at 2 p.m. This is not 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know how to think about it. Like, if I was a captain of a team and you're supposed to play in a tournament where the scale of tournaments I would play in is you have to be there 1 hour prior to the first game even starting. So when you're in a situation like this, that your player is late when the tournament was already supposed to start, and he's still sleeping at that time, it's like 2 p.m. Like, how long have you guys been up last night? Like, what have you been doing? What is the reason for this?
Had some girlfriends over, you could say.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, but then jokes aside, he's like, he would later shrug it off entirely as a joke. But then you would have to look at that like, well, you have a player who hasn't signed an actual contract with stuffs, and I'm not really good with this kind of stuff. But still,
yeah, it is.
You're trying to hold on to a player.
Area.
You're trying to hold on to a player which you are a bit unsure about. Is he actually fully committed? Is he actually in? And he's still doing his work. He's doing what he's supposed to. But can you hold on to this guy, like, if you don't have that contract fully committed and all that?
It felt like when so the backstory on Admiral is they initially only wanted Amel to play for them. Jimmy basically came together with Amel, they joined the team together. And after Amel left, they also they were thinking about replacing Jimmy straight up. And they said like, hey, we invested so much in getting him there already. Let's play along. And try to see what will happen. But then there were like 2 other issues. One of them was his unmovable vacation, which happened. I mean, short version, he notified the team before joining, hey, I have 2 vacations coming up in the following months that I cannot move. I really can't. Like, I will have to go back to attend there. I think one was the wedding and the other one wasn't specified. And thinking about that, one of the vacations was during the open qualifiers for TI.
Yeah,
And I'm
for
like,
for TI.
the
It's
entire
like,
goal of this team was we're gonna make it to TI 3
yeah, we're gonna
qualifiers.
talk top 8. We've been talking about the sponsorship monies, how much money the organization's gonna get if we land in the top 8, and then you have
Yeah.
a vacation planned for a wedding or
For
whatever
the
the
biggest
reason was.
tournament, like for your
And
career, you could
yeah,
make it to TI and you have a vacation. Why did you join the team in the first place if you know you can't do TI? It's not only
yeah,
like this
exactly. A when.
one player they can replace for that. First of all, you can't do that in TI qualifiers easily, and second, you're the captain. You're supposed to steer the ship to TI.
Yeah, and
And I'm
exactly,
like,
like when did you know about these trips? Did you know prior to
way in
joining the
beforehand.
team, or did he know them after and then,
He
or
knew
did he know it
prior.
before and he forgot about it or what? But he still knows
He
that
did.
these two things are like, I have to go to these, so obviously you know them. And then he just brings them out how many weeks prior to the qualifiers, or like was it before both of these vacations took place? So he did still have a bit of time for them, but still TI is your main goal for this team, and the organization has thrown a lot of money into the team, but also into Jimmy as their star player. And then he said, that, "Nah, I can't." How would
It's
that make you feel?
I,
Does it
I
make you
would
feel like I have
I would
wasted
feel
money and time?
scammed. I would
Yeah,
feel absolutely
exactly.
scammed by Jimmy at that point.
Yeah, like I've
Like
wasted money and time.
I wasn't sure we're gonna make it work, and then he's like, nope, I'm going to that vacation. Screw your TI qualifiers. I'm going on vacation. When he himself said we have a good chance at making TI. That's just man, that's such shit. To be honest, that sounds like a fucking shit excuse. Excuse my
Basically, when
language,
I
but
read that, I instantly started turning around. Like, was Jimmy actually the big problem here? And it almost feels like he's joined this team with a vendetta. Like he wants to like pay back something that he's like suffered before or something, and then he does this because you're already getting free expenses from food and or your like your boot camp stuff. You're looking after your players, but you know you've known one of the players. You're kind of like being more buddies with him than compared to the other people, and you know that you're not actually participating in TI because you have this thing, but you want to get some money in between if you can.
yeah,
That
it's
that must feel horrible for the other 4 players as well. Not even like organization like perspective, but the guys he's playing with, and they haven't known anything about this.
yeah. This is
You're
there's
like
a
a
lot
you're
of
like a
other stuff to
walking
talk
question
about.
mark.
Yeah, walking question mark. And talking about question marks, I have a lot of questions. We also have a lot of drama left, but we're running out of time slowly. That's
That
the
is
issue.
that seems to always be the issue in our case, but we'll definitely jump into this because we are doing a pre-recorded run. It is actually 2 a.m. here in Finland, and things might change by the time this show is being run live on Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
might
if
turn
there's
into best of
anything,
5.
so if there's anything that happens by then, we will be around and give you updates around this, or on the next episode if there's something that really changes the whole boat. But let's jump onward to the next part. So let's talk about the tournaments that give us the money. So Rampage Series 2 and UCC Rumble Cup, you want to pull these
Yeah.
tournaments off.
All right, I gotta start with the Rampage series. I'm a little bit more involved in that than the UC Rumble Cup. So, Rampage
I like the
Series
way
2.
you say you're involved.
I kinda am. Not to spoil anything. Not to spoil anything. But yeah. So we have the Rampage series running from August 8 to 14, starting in the last days of the UC Rumble Cup. Fortunately, the organizers were nice enough. They talked with each other, and everybody adjusted dates. You know how it should be. Looking at a particular studio.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same format just last time. We had 4 qualifiers, starting on the 27th, 28th, and then another one on the 30th and 31st of the month. And yeah, 4 qualifier teams go through. And current invited teams, or the direct invited teams, are Elements Pro Gaming, Burn United, The Final Tribe, Empire, or Team Empire, Singularity, Alliance, Double Dimension, Vegas Gordon, and Fate Gaming or Bursapor. Bursaspor?
Bursaspor, yeah, that'd be the Turkish area.
Bursaspor. I can't pronounce that if my life depends on it. But yeah, being invited again. I don't know. I have high chances for Elements Pro Gaming this time around. No Helsinki Reds yet. I think. I
Yeah,
believe.
I haven't heard from those guys. I haven't heard from them what they're up to with this
Yeah, not
tournament.
really, not really the best performances in the last few weeks. You could say. But there's the open qualifiers, as well as there's still 3 invites to be decided, and we're gonna update you on the next show as soon as we know them. Or well, a show, I believe, I believe. We will have a show on the 7th, one day before the tournament actually starts, so we can have a perfect rundown the week after this show. Yeah, same format. It's going to be for qualifiers, as I mentioned 4 times before. I know, I'm sorry, and then a single elimination playoff bracket best of threes. So it's a small little cup run over a couple of days, 6 days to in total, with a decent prize pool of 5,000. All right, UCC Rumble Cup, Mr. Pando.
UCC Rumble Cup, yeah. UCC being the studio coming from Russia. I think they're like the second or third biggest. Is it even the biggest at this point? So I would say second. Yeah, I would say second biggest.
The second big. It's the UCAN company.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not joking. That's the name. Just saying.
So UCC Rumble Cup. There was the I believe there was an open qualifier running yesterday. I had a friend's team playing there as well. So we're still waiting on those. But close qualifiers, there looks like there's an interesting set of teams. There's also Elements Pro Gaming in this one, and Helsinki Reds for this tournament. I still don't know why they're not in the Rampage series, but at least in this one. Akatsuki Clan, No Bounty Hunter, Backpacks Gaming, Bursaspor, Team Panda, and Burning United. I'm kind of.
So who are you cheering for there in that list?
I don't know. I can't say Helsinki Reds because I'm not affiliated with them in any way.
Yeah, right.
So basically, the close qualifiers, there's 7 invited teams, 1 team coming from the open qualifiers, and onto the main stage, there's 6 invited teams. There's Team Empire, Double Dimension, Alliance, Singularity. By the looks of it, there are still 2 unknown teams. So what they're doing is apparently they're going to have the 6 invited teams and 2 from the close qualifiers. I'm not sure was it a round robin kind of way where they play against each others, but they end up into a playoff system with 4 teams, and all of these 4 teams that end up in the top 4, they get money prizes.
It's the GSL format, basically, with 2 groups.
So they start off with $500 all the way to $6,000 for the winner, and that's a nice amount of cash considering TI with that $22 million pot coming up in a couple weeks. That's not actually a bad amount of money.
That's true. It's 6,000 for the first place, and second, third, and fourth. So everybody making it to the final gets some money at least. It's a lot of commitment though. Like the tournament is fairly long. Like it starts running, or today that is, and it runs until the 7th. So that's the double the amount of length in terms of matches. Considering that you have to go through the entire GSL play format. Like imagine if you come from the close qualifiers. That is a lot of matches if you might.
Or the one team that came from the open qualifiers.
I mean, that would be great. If an open qualifier team gets the slot and gets any money out of the tournament, I'm happy.
Is Team Panda the one that came from the open qualifier?
I believe they were invited. I'm not sure who in the closed made it 3 opens. I'm really not sure. I don't have info now. Fortunately, we did not have the most reliable info here. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a lot of games you have to play for the prize pool. Not sure that's all. I mean, you have teams that don't participate in TI anyways, or Flydo, so I guess this is more of like fun preparation. Teams that did not get invited to the summit and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable.
Well, these 2 tournaments, there's a lot of action up on those, and we'll keep you updated on those as well. But now, one last segment to go for. We almost finished the predictions for the Battle Pass. We want to finish them and close them off today. We want to do them now. So we did, in the previous show, with Topical, we ran through all the heroes and the teams, but we're still left off with the players, the individuals, and the tournament itself. So this should be fun.
Can we make like a whiteboard if the predictions are over, where we take Topical's prediction, just with a red marker, we make X's everywhere he was wrong? Like, can we do that?
I mean, I think
we had a lengthy discussion afterward about some of his choices.
I'm pretty sure I wrote somewhere down on my computer a text file regarding Topical about what he predicted on something. I think it was a hero or something, but
Quick, Panda, pretend like this is a production saying,
I know.
Production just told us this is totally possible. Make
So-
sure you have the fingers at the ear to make it look iconic.
So I think Griffin, you are ready with your point of view. So we're going to jump first to tournament, and then we're going to do the players. So tournament predictions, all the way from games played, heroes picked, heroes banned, combined total kills, longest game, shortest game, most kills by a hero, most deaths by a hero, most assists by a hero, and the highest GPM by a hero in a game. So we've got specific games and we've got specifics for the entire tournament. So let's start off all the way from the left to the right. Amount of games played.
Yeah, I would say we go back and forth, right? I go for it first and then we go back and forth. With guesses.
This is
I think
just wild predicting, pretty much.
Not really. I think the meta is trending towards fast games, unpredictable ones, lots of best of twos.
Total number of games played?
45 to 49.
45 to 49. All right.
I think we're going to get just 46. This is like just over the edge, I would say. That's what we get.
Yeah, I went for the 54. I think somewhere in between is a pretty reliable source. I mean, last TI, there was a lot of best of threes going all the way to game 3. This year, we might have a lot of 2-0s. Who knows? So I think we'll go with either 45, 49, 50, 54. You viewers can also fill in your predictions at the same time. This is a good opportunity. If you've missed them, jump on board at the same time as we're doing this.
And
but
if
let's
you're
go
wrong,
into the
blame
section.
Panda.
Yeah, if you're wrong, blame me and look at bottom.
Sure.
Total number of heroes picked, I have a 91 to 100. I kind of feel like a lot of heroes are going to be picked, even though the meta lately has been pretty stale, working around 15 to 20 heroes, and only a specific like comfort hero added on top of that. So we might actually see a lot of less heroes picked this year if there's no patch coming in.
I'm going to trust the pocket stats and say we get the plus 101.
Plus 101. That's really confident, but yeah. Total number of heroes banned, however.
Boy. 61 to 70. We do not go high on that number. I'm almost saying like 0 to 60 is maybe stretching it, but we don't have a lot of different bans. Like you see Bloodseekers, Crystal Maiden. Every time first place ban, that's like a safe slot in all of these. So yeah, I would say 61 to 70.
We have like a reoccurring pattern of the bans and then the so-called what do you call it?
Flex bans.
Flex bans, or more like respect bans. So basically, you have a perfect Nature's Prophet player, you ban Nature's Prophet. You normally don't do that, so you'll just go for it. I go 61 to 70. I'm a bit optimistic, but 0 to 60 is also pretty viable, considering.
No, I'm going with 61 to 70 as well.
61 to 70. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll go with that.
I think that's the most reasonable. All right, most combined total kills in the game, Panda.
So this is one specific game. I have 101 to 110. So that's basically like both teams hitting the 50 kill mark. So we're talking about an 80-90 minute game. 2 European teams, or not to even actually say European teams. I think this is the part where we're talking about teams having the longest game, where I had Fly to Moon, so that's Windstrike team, having that game with a lot of total kills in combined. So I have 101 to 110. That's the third highest option you can go for. There's a lot of options in this one.
I want to be confident saying we get one really long 121 plus game. So I'm gonna go with the
highest. That's also possible. You just need one game. You just need one game for it.
Yeah, like this is totally random. You don't know what happens. Like I would say we'll have one of these, but going about the next section, longest game of the tournament, subsequently, because I'm hoping for the most combined kills, I gotta say 90 to 99.59. I don't think we have a 100-minute plus game, but we're definitely gonna have one 90-minute Slaughterfest.
I have the one below that.
Oh,
but that's just me. I'm just an odd shot. Shortest game of the tournament, 15 minutes to 19:59 on my behalf. Usually, a pretty common way of calling a GG is 16 minutes if your early game lineup has failed against the opponents completely. So you just get run over. You fail either the way you set up your lanes and it doesn't work out perfectly, or you just get stomped so hard that you know there's no coming back. So like 16-minute GG, 17-minute GG is pretty common.
On one hand, 15 to 20 minutes sounds good. On the other hand, we have Optic in the tournament, so I'm gonna say 15 minutes, 10 to 15.
10 to 15. All right.
That's my guess.
Most kills by a hero in a game. I have 23 to 25.
I go 20 to 22. I think.
They're
Do
both
I?
pretty reliable ones.
Yeah, like it's one of these because we know there will be that one Spectre game where Spectre runs over
Oh
everybody.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
just going to happen. So I would maybe even we have the 26 one, but this is like I'm definitely sure it's one of the bottom three choices.
Yeah.
I think 23 to 25 is actually a more reasonable guess.
Yeah,
I go
I
with that as
also
well.
feel like it's going to happen in the group stages if it's going to happen where they're going to have a lot of kills in that one specific game. You don't really see those happening in the playoffs, like in the elimination bracket. You don't really see that many kills because you're playing very conservative, very defensive, and taking minimal risks. When you do take those risks, you don't repeat them over and over again. So you don't go for like super greedy kills that might lead you to dying because it might just cost you the series, might cost you the game. Most deaths by a hero. 15,
Is it my
17.
turn or your turn? 15, 17. Yeah, it's reasonable there will be more than 14. I'm gonna say 18 to 20. I think there will be one of the. I'm still banking on one of the really long games where we have.
We're going odd shots all the way in this one.
You know what? I'm going high. I'm saying 21 plus. Like we going full adult mode on this.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted.
Like,
I'm so tempted.
I gotta
to
say,
21 plus.
I'm completely banking on the fact that there will be one really long game. This is why I go with 21 plus.
I believe we can both agree on most assists, plus 36.
Yeah, definitely. We are in a matter with Spectre and Zeus. This is just going to happen.
Yeah, this
Like,
is definitely
Zeus,
gonna happen.
Zeus gets 4 assists in every team fight, anyways, at least. You have like 5-6 team fights, and you're already at the 20-30 mark.
Yeah.
Same with Spectre. You press your ultimate, and the assist still lingers around for quite a while, so you get an assist even if you only do 1 damage. It's just reasonable to go for it, and then you have other heroes as well. All the global heroes. It's just too convenient to not go 36 plus. Highest GPM though.
I want to hear yours on this one.
900 to 999 was my
I'm also
initial
thinking
guess,
like,
but then I feel like we have seen some rare sights of an alchemist in some games, and if there's an alchemist, we're gonna breach the 1000 at one point.
yeah, I mean, especially with the bounce, he's getting so much money now for the whole team, and Alchemist just gets that multiplier on top of that.
Let's go big. Let's go 1000.
I'm gonna play safe, and I'm gonna go for the 900, 999. I'm gonna go with
and then it's 1001, and you're gonna be really
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah, that is possible. It's gonna happen. But now, these are our tournament predictions. All the 10 parts filled in for here. We've got a big segment we're going to try and fill into the end of the show here. So let's jump straight into the player predictions. I've already filled out mine, so I could just shout them out here. But how do you want to do it? Do you want to agree or disagree on what I have picked?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. You just go ahead and then I give my 2 cents.
Highest kill average, Miracle.
Reasonable, I would say. Kill average, definitely doable. Miracle, I think Liquid is gonna go really far, so he has a lot of chance of getting an average. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds a lock to me.
I'm gonna continue with not with Liquid, but with my nationality. So player with most kills in a game, Thompson. I'm gonna hope for a Thompson Invoker game and just rack up a massive amount of kills.
The Thompson Invoker, okay.
I'm not sure if he's actually gotten to play Invoker that much when he's been an OG. It is
I'm
good.
torn. Like I think the most kills in the game will fall to either OG or to Windstrike. So I'm not really sure.
Yep. I mean, yeah, we could definitely put any carry gate player can fill in here.
Yeah, I would say we go with Thompson, but honorable mention to Windstrike. I'd say they make a lot of kills, and like this is talking about the entire tournament. So if Windstrike has like one big game where they have like 50 kills or something on a hero, and then they fall out, then yeah, and then they drop out of the tournament. This is not the average; it's the most kills in one game across the entire tournament.
Yeah, this is in one game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Third part, which is again an average. I might be a bit biased over last year, but watching this guy's performance, I have resolution for lowest death average. He usually plays these heroes that if your team's taking a fight, he joins only if he knows that he will survive and he will take as many as he can. But he's not the guy who like I will like I lost the reference in my mind, man. Like, I'm gonna take a couple with me as I die. That kind of reference I was gonna drive it. So
I gotta
Rezo's
say,
not that type of player.
my pick here is Arteezy. I think he transitioned a lot.
Arteezy is actually pretty good here, yeah.
Yeah, I think Arteezy is a super, or evolved into a super safe player, in terms of that, and I think he's gonna have a low stat average. Average, that is. It's not the
average,
lowest in one game. That would be stupid. Highest assist average. That's my pick straight up, Babuka.
Fly.
No, Babuka. You didn't hear me.
Babuka.
Definitely Babuka. Like, Earth Spirit, whatnot, he's gonna have so many assists. On the other hand, I could go with some mid players as well. Smells something. I can still throw that in, but I gotta count on Babuka having some absolute glorious Earth Spirit roaming games.
Yeah, could be. I mean,
you know what? Let me change that. Let me change that from Babuka to XXS. XXS Lina.
Okay. Lina's actually pretty. Comparing, there's a lot of Winter Wyvern players. They cast one spell, they already get the 5 assists. Pretty much.
Nah, don't think so.
Could be.
Plays with most assists in a game.
I have Roger.
Think about it.
These are like, there are so many options for assists. Is a really large category.
Assists, I would again go with XXS because he's known to play Lina, Lashrak, Zeus, and I think he's gonna have a good amount of assists. I have high hopes for Invictus Gaming in TI.
All right.
Highest lasted average.
I might have to change this one, but I did think about RTZ for a while.
RTZ?
But then again, he plays heroes like Razor and these that they don't really rack up a big amount of last hits. So you have to put a Chinese player in this one, definitely, because I have the next part, which is last hits in a game. I have aggressive because aggressive plays a lot of farming heroes, and China usually does a world.
I agree. I would go with aggressive on aggressive on both of them. Most in a game at most average. Like he's a farm machine. I would definitely put him up there as the top contender, and I already have 5 in the Invictus Gaming players in my predictions. But yeah,
it's not a bad way to go. Yeah, I mean it's China years, so. Well, let's go to the third one. Most GPM. I thought about Alchemist players in the tournament. I went with Paparazzi.
Okay, not the worst choice.
Because it's in a game.
Call. Yeah, we talked about there will be that one Alchemist game. Okay, let's go with Paparazzi. Now the average.
We agree on something. I'm glad we found consensus. But then again, player with the highest GPM average. I was thinking Ace, because Ace is also one of those guys who farms quite a lot. Maybe one of the like considering European region, how many GPM farmers do you have? Like who usually rack up a high amount of GPM and don't die that much? Ace is the guy who comes into mind for me.
Ace, yeah, I think that can pass. I think
Eternal Envy is not a bad option either.
Yeah, like E is one of these. Like if he gets comfort heroes, he will have a high GPM, and they tend to draft around him. I'm gonna go with EE.
Yeah, all right. E is actually my second choice for that one. But I think we can both agree on the most different heroes picked, which is our last part.
Hold on, just scrolling past all the Chinese teams.
I want to hear yours, but I
want to hear yours first, actually. What do you think?
I have Kuroki.
Okay.
Kuroki has a really large hero pool.
True. I was hoping for my boy Peter.
PPD.
PPD with the pocket strats.
Could be. I haven't watched Optic gaming that much.
You always have to predict who's going far in this. Like a team that goes out in the group stage.
That is true. That is very true, actually.
Way less heroes than going later, and I think for that, Optic has a solid choice going further with the recent performance. This is why I would not take anyone from Windstrike, because I think they perform at a great level, but they will not make it to the playoffs.
That's very true. That's actually good thinking, because most different heroes, of course, you need to play a lot of games to get there. To have a higher chance.
We don't have anyone from Virtus Pro in this area. Like,
I have Roger.
So far,
I have Roger.
Oh, where?
in the most assists in a game.
Oh, true. You said that. Oh, I missed that. Okay, but I don't know. This is. I don't know. Most different heroes. Like I can cross most Chinese teams and Pain Gaming off the list. If it comes to that, I think
Yeah.
it will be somebody from VP. So either from VP, from OG, or from Optic.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good. Yeah, because looking at
I'm
my
gonna trust him.
predictions,
I'm gonna trust.
I've only got 2 Liquid players and aggressive in 2. So the others are unique players from unique teams and a good mixture of. I actually don't have any Southeast Asia players here. Now that I look at it, I have every other region except Southeast Asia.
I
I don't
gotta
have
go with
anyone
Mr.
from
Salt Lord.
Mr. Saltlord. Anyway, these are our player predictions and our tournament predictions from the compendium. If you missed them, do wind the video backwards a bit and you can find what we have filled in and getting to a bit of the meta talk here. But we are unfortunately out of time for today's Offlane episode. Thank you for Nursery Gamers for having us, and also Griffin, our good he's the reliability here with all these
He's the one
videos and
responsible
pictures.
that we can just sit here and sip on water
Yeah,
and
I mean,
talk and shit
we're
for an hour, you know?
we're just here to look pretty. He makes us look pretty. Thank you for being here, Griffin. Also, thanks to all of you viewers. Do note that this was a pre-recorded show, but we will be back up in a week, and hopefully we're going to have a lot more stuff to fill in. And maybe we'll get something on the Team Admiral part. If we don't, then we'll definitely have other topics regarding that. But thank you for tuning in today, and good night.